Aizen Sosuke, genius, traitor, visionary. The man who orchestrated one of the biggest betrayals in anime history wasn't just motivated by power, his true goal was far more complex. At the core of his rebellion was a philosophical question. Is the world we live in truly just? And could breaking the system actually lead to something better? Let's talk about the Soul King. Hailed as the god who keeps the balance between the worlds, the Soul King is an enigmatic and mysterious figure, but the truth of his existence is far darker than anyone realizes. The Soul King isn't a ruler in any traditional sense, he's a prisoner. The Soul King's existence is what holds together the Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and the human world, but not by choice. The Soul King is literally shackled in place, isolated, and unable to act or even move freely. Aizen's primary problem with the Soul King was that this god was no leader. He wasn't someone who governed with power or wisdom. He was a puppet, kept in chains, and his role in maintaining the world order was artificial, imposed by the highest ranks of the Soul Society. This god was a tool to keep the system functioning, not a ruler of any kind. For Aizen, this was the crux of the issue. The Soul King's very existence was evidence of the Soul Society's fear of true evolution. The Soul King was created as a safeguard to prevent chaos, but in doing so, it locked the world into a cycle of stagnation. This wasn't a divine plan, it was a prison. Aizen didn't just want to overthrow the Soul Society for power. He believed in something far more radical, true evolution and progress for the souls of the world. Aizen argued that the very foundation of the Soul Society was built on a lie that had trapped countless beings in a cycle of repeating the same roles over and over again. The Soul King wasn't a liberator. Aizen didn't just reject the Soul King because of his desire for power. He saw the Soul King as a symbol of an oppressive, stagnant system that restricted growth. If the Soul King was allowed to continue existing as a god who could never act, then nothing would ever change. Aizen wanted change. He wanted the Soul Society to evolve into something greater than what it was, something beyond the restrictions imposed by a dead god. Now, let's look at the Soul Society itself. This society, ruled by the Gote 13, functions like a strict bureaucratic system where power is controlled by a small, elite group of individuals. It's a place of order, but also oppression. Every soul is assigned a place, a rank, a role to play. The system is built around keeping everything in balance, maintaining order no matter the cost. The Gote 13 works tirelessly to uphold this balance, but at what cost? The Soul Society is a perfect example of what Aizen feared, a world where things are done simply because they've always been done that way, where everyone has their place and no one dares question the higher authorities. Aizen realized that this system couldn't foster growth. It was a world built on control. Aizen's ultimate goal wasn't just to bring about destruction or chaos, it was to force the world to evolve. He saw the Hogyoku, the object of immense power, as the key to breaking down the barriers that confined the Soul Society and its inhabitants. The Hogyoku wasn't a tool for ruling, it was a tool for transcending what was considered possible. Aizen believed that true power came from the freedom to evolve without the constraints of a preordained system. With the Hogyoku, he hoped to initiate a new era, one where beings could reach their full potential without fear of the Soul King or anyone else keeping them in check. In Aizen's mind, the world was held back by the very system that was supposed to protect it. He sought to destroy the Soul King, not just as a figurehead of the Soul Society, but as a symbol of everything that needed to change. The Soul King represented stagnation, a dead god whose existence prevented the natural evolution of souls. Aizen was convinced that breaking this system would lead to a new world of possibilities. Now, the Soul King was never meant to rule. He was merely a means of control. Now, things get even more complicated when we bring Yhwach into the picture. Yhwach, the son of the Soul King, is one of the most dangerous and powerful beings in the Bleach universe. But what makes him so interesting isn't just his strength, it's his deep connection to Aizen's philosophy. Yhwach, like Aizen, believed that the Soul King's existence was a perversion of true power and freedom. In fact, Yhwach's ultimate goal was to destroy the Soul King and claim his rightful place as the true ruler of the worlds. But unlike Aizen, Yhwach had a more personal reason for this. He was the Soul King's son, and his bloodline made him the heir to his power. Yhwach's claim to the Soul King's power makes his rebellion even more tragic. While Aizen wanted to dismantle the corrupt system from the outside, Yhwach wanted to destroy it from within. Yhwach's rage and resentment toward the Soul King, his father, were born from the fact that he was neglected, cast aside, and denied his place in the world that should have been his. Here's where the connection between Aizen and Yhwach becomes undeniable. Both characters recognized the oppressive nature of the Soul King and the system he represented. They both understood that the Soul King's existence was a form of control, holding the world in place and preventing any true evolution. Aizen and Yhwach, in their own ways, sought to break free from that control, though their paths diverged in the process. Aizen saw the Soul King as a symbol of everything that needed to change, while Yhwach saw the same flaws that Aizen did, though his method was far more brutal. In the end, both Aizen and Yhwach sought to destroy a god who was keeping the world locked in place. So, was Aizen right? In a way, yes. He was right to challenge a system that needed to change. His methods were extreme, and his desires were tainted by his ambition. But the core of his rebellion was a desire for evolution. Aizen sought to free the Soul Society and its people from the shackles of an oppressive, stagnant system. Whether you agree with his methods or not, Aizen was one of the few characters in Bleach who truly understood that sometimes, to build something new, you have to destroy what came before. Love him or hate him, Aizen was a revolutionary at heart. What do you think? Was he justified in his actions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of Bleach.